Hey guys, welcome back to yet another episode by Monomousumi Services, where we felicitate our monthly essay competition winners. I'm your host, Ms. Divya Thakur, an educator, author, mentor, and a lifelong learner. And today we have with us Ms. Bruna Santos. She's a 17-year-old girl straight from Brazil, and her hobbies include listening to music, reading. She likes to read about Victorian literature. She's really into world history, and she also mentors students. Did I miss anything, Bruna, or would you like to fill into any other details regarding your bio? Please go ahead.
No, I think that it's mainly it. I think my passion for writing, it's all about reading too. So I think you just say everything about it.
Okay, could you give us a start with respect to your writing journey? When did you start off with your writing journey? Any age in particular, any incident?
Well, as I can remember, I think I started to write when I was about 8 years. I write like short novels. I like to create my own characters. And then when I was around 12, I started to write argumentative essays for school. I had a lot of tests, so it is one thing that I started to be really great at. And about a year ago, actually, I discovered creative writing, and it was like a whole new world for me because it's really freedom. It has a lot of opportunities, and I really love it. I think it's my best experience with writing since I can remember.
Okay. And how did you learn about Monomousumi services? Was it the random search or someone told you regarding Monomousumi services, your peers, your friends? So that exploration stage I would like to know.
Well, here in Brazil, I think writing in essay competitions is not a very common and popular thing. So when I started to be a really writer, I had to do my own research. So one day I just Googled it and I started to see a bunch of essay competitions. And I don't know, sometimes your page just came out of there. And I look up in the magazine and I love the theme. I saw that it will happen once in a month. So it also caught my attention because I had a lot of opportunities to always be writing. And mostly of the essays competitions that I'm into only happens one time in a year. So it really caught my attention. So I think it was by doing my own research.
Okay. So was it for the first time you participated here, or you have participated earlier also for earlier months?
I only participated in last month and this one in the Monomousumi and in other essays competition last year, but I think it's just from last year that I'm into essays competition.
So you mentioned in your bio that you love reading. So could you tell me how much of a reading makes you a better writer?
Well, I think to be a good writer, I think you have to understand the process of writing. And I don't think there is any better way to understand it if you don't read it. Because when you are reading a book and you think, wow, it's a great book, or no, it's an awful book, you can see what the author is doing to you. You're feeling what he is making you feel, you connecting with the character, or you just don't care if he dies in the middle of the story. I think that's the main reason you can be a good writer or not, because you understand the process of a good writing. And being in the other side, I think makes you feel like, if I put this word here, maybe the people who is reading my article is going to connect better with my story, or no, it's not going to make any sense for them. So I think it's about empathy, I think it's the main reason I think reading helps us writers.
Beautifully praised, Bruna. So you also mentioned in your bio that you have a thing for Victorian literature. So generally people find reading literature very boring, anything to do with theory. So anything you would like to say that will pique interest of person to go ahead and read theory or to read about world literature in general? What is it that excites you the most here in this area?
Well, I think Victorian literature and theory literature, it's like you see the background of the writers. When I started to like Victorian literature, you see a lot of patterns that most of the modern authors follows. So when you see, like, I really like the Gothic style. So when I started to read Wuthering Heights, it was a new experience for me because I like a lot of Gothic authors from now, like Stephen King, and you see a lot of patterns that they follow from stories that was written like I don't know, 2 centuries ago. So it's really exciting to understand the process of how writing is a process of evolution, but also it's always kind of the same, you know, the main motto and the same rules are always the same, and it follows for a long period of time. I think that's the main reason.
Completely agree with you. There is a reason why we still quote 19th and 20th century quotes, because, and also the storytelling helps in visualizing what really happened. So that also will keep the readers hooked to it. You also mentioned that you love mentoring students. So how do you think that mentoring has helped you shape your personality?
Well, when I started mentoring, I think my main goal in this was to help people to achieve their potentials. Knowledge is a thing that I always value a lot. It is one of my family's values. I was raised thinking that a knowledge is the only thing no one can take from you. So when I started mentoring and I help people to achieve that, I felt really good about myself. It was like a new kind of joy. I never felt this way, and made me a person a little more patient, a little more resilient, because when I am talking to a student and trying to pass him a subject or a topic, a specific topic, and he isn't understanding, it's hard for me to like say it different, you know. So when I am mentoring, I think that I can hear myself talking and do it in a different way. It really helps you to shape this kind of resilient personality. It is a thing that makes me really great about myself.
Do you have a genre in particular that you major? Like it can be fantasy, it can be drama, it can be fiction, it can be crime thriller, anything that you really like to write, or you're just open to writing any kind of novels?
Well, I like writing any kind of novels, but I think my especially a scene would be like thriller and a little romance. You know, as I said, I really like to read about Gothic. So when I started to write, I kind of followed the same pattern. You know, I think it's a topic that I really like about, because it can mix like a lot of feelings different. You can be making the person really impacted by the story. You can make them thrilled by the characters, but also it always passes a different message, you know, like the moral of the story. So I think Gothic would be like my love point.
Nice. A follow-up question with that is, I did do my research and I read that you wrote an article on Death Note, right? Probably that was your winning essay. So I would just like to know that, are there any tips that you would like to tell our viewers with respect to how to write a winning essay? Any structure, any format?
Well, I don't think it's a lot about the structure. I mean, I think it's more about the topic, because when I wrote this one, it was about the topic was about comparing things. It could be any kind of thing. So I started to think, well, what I'm good at writing and what it's that excites me more. And I thought first off in things like the pop culture, because it's something that I really like. I'm always watching movies and series, and I thought of this anime because I recently watched it, and me and my friends always are discussing like the character was right or the character was wrong by his theory. And I started to think about, and I saw that this all discussion and this big comparison between both characters was a lot about philosophies too. So I researched and I saw that the opinion of the main character, it was all related to utilitarianism, that is one of the philosophy's themes. So I thought, well, it's something that I like, and it's easy for me to write because I'm already knowing the characters and the series. So I think it's about you write something that when you're actually writing and you think about the subject makes you comfortable with the theme. I mean, I'm not gonna write about I don't know, a series that I never watched, or I don't know, law, because I don't understand about it. So I think you have to make yourself comfortable, because you're gonna have a block if you don't. I think it's
Correct.
the main type I can give.
So you just talked about something called as block, and we understood that is nothing but the writer's block thing. So do you think there exists a term called writer's block? And if let's say some writer is facing, or a creative person is facing through this writing block stage, what should they do? Your suggestions?
Well, I had my moments of block. I couldn't write anything. So what I usually do is make myself to calm down. I'm a very anxious person. So sometimes it's a lot of thoughts in my mind that I can't order it. So I think what mainly helps me, it's like take a breath, go for a walk. That's something that really calms me down. I love to listen to music. So I think it's a way to be more chilling about the theme, and also helps me brainstorming, you know, like connect ideas. So I think it's doing what makes you really comfortable, and you cannot actually forget about the essay you're writing, so you can order your way to go through it. Because when you're too focused on that, and sometimes you can write something, you're gonna be anxious and oh my god, I can't do it, or I'm not gonna finish. So it's really complicated. I think the main type is to relax, take a deep breath, and like look in the mirror and talk to yourself like, I can do this. It's not impossible. I think it's my main type.
Yeah, and to add on to your suggestion, that's the reason why probably it is called as writer's block, because we need to take a break to break that block. I mean, just doing the wordplay out there. So even that helps. And actually, my next follow-up question was like how to calm an anxious mind. And I wanted to learn from you, because you're a teenager, and especially anxiety and all these issues are seen, I mean, in bulk, especially among teenagers. So you actually answered that. Anything else would you like to add on, apart from taking a break, listening to music, that really calms a person, especially someone who's a teenager?
I think it's one of the biggest issues in our age. I mean, especially here in Brazil, we are considered like the country who has most anxious people. So it's really hard for all my colleagues, my friends. We mostly are always in anxious moments. So I think what sometimes really helps is like see a professional too. I mean, I go to therapy, and it really helps me out when she talks to me, and when she gives me real types. Like for a time, I actually had to do like period of walks as almost a rule. Every day I had to go for a walk and be out like for 30 minutes to calm myself. So I think when you talk to someone who's specialized in that, really helps you to understand that it's a problem, very common problem, and you can do it. You know, I think that you can actually go through it, and sometimes it's more easy than you think. Sometimes you just need someone else to help you and see from a different perspective. So I think I go to other people always helps too.
Very beautifully mentioned, and that too in a calm tone, even though we know this issue is very serious and very universal. But good to know that the steps that you took. And I guess in Brazil, it's spoken that if you have an issue, you talk about it and you work it out. Right. So I'll give you three options, Bruna, and you have to list these three options in the order of your priority. Okay, so you have to customize this list. So your three words are consistency, virality, and quality. So how would you rate these three terms in order of importance from highest to lowest? Consistency, virality, and quality.
I think consistency it would be the first, and I think I would put like quality as the last, because I think when you make a test that a essay that it's very consistent, quality it's like a consequence. You don't have actually to worry about it, because when you read that article that is very consistent with the ideas, has great arguments, and you see that it's like fluid to read it. You know, it's not you read it and see, well, that's weird, or it's not making really sense. Quality, it's something that is going to go like a consequence. People are going to read it and see, whoa, it's really good, but you can like define what it's really good by just quality. You have to think about other issues. So I think it's the last thing you have to worry about. It's I'm gonna write a good essay. No, you have to worry about if you're gonna write an essay that is consistent, if has good arguments, if it's making sense, if you're gonna make the people who is reading feel what you want them to feel. I think it's the thing you have to worry first.
Completely agree, because we have different parameters set for marking the consistency. These days, artificial intelligence, they mark quality of our articles. So I second you on this, that whatever you said, yes, consistency has to be one's priority. And I feel eventually, once you continuously do it, you will get better at that craft. And that is how it goes. And generally, what people do is they really like, they don't want to take part, or they get fearful, or they get nervous wreck or something, and they just don't get into them. So yes, I also agree with how you ordered these statements. And I'd like to know, how is becoming writer full time seen in Brazil? Like, is it like a supported career, or you feel that people are not really that open to taking writing as a full time career?
Well, here in Brazil, education as a global thing, it's not a really valuable career, you know. A teacher are not a good career. They have like low payments, and writer it's even worse, you know. Here we actually right now in the current moment of the presidents, it's been really hard for humanities professionals, humanities careers, because the government doesn't support it, and we actually are suffering a crisis like text in books. It's been really hard. So I don't think it's a good career here. So sometimes when I talk to my friends of a little groups that wants to become a writer, we always talk about studying outside the country and trying to make a career outside and then go back, because it makes more easy to achieve this kind of goal, because in general, it's not a good career here. It's one of the reasons that I search for monomousumi, because essay competitions here doesn't exist really. I search everywhere, and it's not a common thing. And we only learn to make essays to pass in our tests for college, and then it's awful, you know, because it's not, you know, you don't learn to write. You learn to make a model with fixed patterns, and you can express yourself there. So it's really about outside the country.
And I also want to give a shout out to monomousumi services. Now we are ISO certified. So that means all those who are associated, who are competing using our platform, they will get an international recognition. Okay, so you did mention in your bio, I just like realized, I forgot, I should have mentioned it earlier, that you do want to go to foreign land to continue your studies abroad. Like, do you have any subject in your head for masters or for undergraduate? Which country, which subject?
Well, I have a dream to make my college in United States. It's a country that has a lot of opportunities and especially scholarships. My family, it's a normal family. We don't have a lot of money to spend on college. So I think it's my main goal right now. And I think I'm gonna do my graduation, my undergraduation in history, because I really love mentoring. It's the subject that I mentor, and I think teaching it's what's going to be my career in the future. But I'm not really sure. I just want to give an opportunity to outside the country explore.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Explore and see, and then eventually you get there. Any last message you want to give to your viewers, or you want to use our platform to talk about any cause that you stand for, anything that you want to speak? Go ahead.
Well, I think this interview was a great opportunity for me, and I just want to say that I think everyone who has an interest to write, to actually participate in essays competitions, because it's a great form to learn. It's a great way to learn how to express yourself, your thoughts in a different way than speaking. For me, it's been a great opportunity, and I think it's a way to make this career more valuable I think knowledge is something that actually in the current world it's being underestimated, and that's really sad. So this, I think, it's an opportunity to make things different, you know, like in your own way, and participate more of extracurricular activities that it's really exciting. I really love it.
There you go, showing the mentor straight. Surely you are mentoring many students out there. Thank you so much, Bruna, for taking out your time. And if you ask me personally, there was many things that I learned, relearned, and unlearned. And next thing after this interview, I'm going to do is I'm going to read about Victorian literature, because by now I have just read, like, done a surface reading, because I'm not really so much into theory. But post listening to your views on this, I'm definitely going to read and learn more about it. And hoping to read more of your articles, not just in Monomousumi services, but in various platforms. So all the very best. But for now, it's a goodbye. Thank you so much.
Thank you too.